a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
I'm Christina Kahn.
And I'm Leela Hilton.
And this is Burn Before Reading, the podcast about shiterature.
We're here to cover literary cringe and drama, as well as some pieces we wrote when we were cringe ourselves.
Today it's just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try, just the two of us. And then
the two of us.
I only remember the version from Austin Powers where Mini-Me goes, "You and I," in like a really deep voice.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I watched that really recently.
Again? Or oh no.
No.
Oh,
just the one time recently.
We've seen each other so much.
Yeah, recent, like last week.
Oh, that was ages ago.
That was so long ago. It was looking pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it. Well, Leela. Oh, yeah, I already said that. It's just the two of us today. How the hell have you been, babe?
I've been pretty good. And I'm, just realizing now I did not think of Cringe of the Week, but you know what? It'll come to me, and
okay.
We're going to have you go first. But yeah, I've been doing good. Just working, twerking, and getting shit done.
Same. Hell yeah. It's starting to get nice here, and like I feel like the tides are changing.
Yeah.
Like it is become summertime in Virginia.
Yeah, this past weekend it was a high of 88. So
yeah, where we live, it's not really. You don't really do spring.
Yeah, we maybe had like a good week and a half of it. Maybe,
and it was beautiful.
It was glorious. But that's okay. We love summer. Christina especially loves summer.
Yeah, I'm a real swamp bitch.
Yeah, she
I like it swampy.
She likes it swampy.
Literally, my therapist today, I was like, I'm feeling great because it's starting to get really hot. And she was like, oh, you like the heat? And I was like, oh, yeah. And she was like, oh, but not the humidity, right? And I was like, no, I love the humidity. People think I'm crazy, but I just want to be drenched in sweat. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, there's only one other person I know who's like that.
Really?
That I know. Yeah, Alyssa Gupta.
Oh, really?
And her excuse is that she is from Pennsylvania and so was miserable and cold her whole life. And so now she wants it hot. And she's like, I like it hotter than a lot of other people like it.
Okay,
she loves
interesting.
It. 90s, she's like, I love it here.
Yeah, I want to bake.
Yeah.
I want to bake.
Oh, I like air conditioning, but...
Oh, not me.
You don't like air conditioning?
Okay, I guess I like technically like having it from time to time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in the summer when I'm in blasting air conditioning, it feels very uncomfortable.
Okay.
And my boyfriend, he's the kind of guy who loves to blast a fan on full power, and it like hurts me. That's like a really strong word to say, but like, it just like feels so bad.
Really? I'm a big cuddler, and I feel like I can't cuddle unless it's frigid.
That's his rule. He's like, you literally cannot touch me.
Yeah.
As he is a big warm bear. He's like, you are not allowed to touch me unless it is full fan freezing in here.
Yeah, I'm a little baby bear, and I'm the same.
Not me. Not me. Oh, anyway, yeah, we'll keep you all updated about how sweaty things get here in Richmond, Virginia.
Yep. Great weather talk.
I got to cringe. You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Last night I went out with my boyfriend.
Say it like that every time.
He and I went out. We went to our local kink bar. They were doing a shadowcast performance of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually Easter, 420 Easter yesterday.
Ooh,
so
okay.
We went out. Yeah, I like that they were like, we need a spring date. Let's do Easter for Rocky Horror.
I like
sure.
it. It seems so sinful and delicious.
Yes. And our local troupe is called Orgasmic Rush of Lust, which is a quote from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I've seen them several times. They're very, very good. We had a fun time. The energy was very silly and goofy. If you've ever been to Rocky Horror, you know how it goes. And like Greer and I were just having like a very silly, goofy time. And so I drank one really tall gin and tonic, like a very tall, very boozy one. And then I had 4 PBR, tall boys also, which is like, but that's not a lot.
Yeah, PBRs are quite low.
They're like alcohol. Nothing, yeah. So like for me, that's not like a large amount of alcohol, but I think also like the silly energy just made me like really, I didn't feel drunk. I was just being like so silly.
Yeah.
And Greer dropped me at my back door. My bedroom's off the alleyway behind our house, so the boys come to the back door. And so he was dropping me off and he was saying goodnight, and I ate shit in the alleyway. I fell down so hard, and it was like it took a long time. Like there was like a moment of eye contact where we both knew I was falling, and I like couldn't, and he grabbed me too. We could not stop it from happening, and I fell on my ass.
Ow.
And I was like, I'm not that drunk, and I feel like there's no way for me to say that now. Like no, yeah. I wouldn't believe me.
Yeah. No, that's the worst is when like you're like, I'm actually not drunk enough to be falling on my ass, but like because people have seen me drink and then I fell, now I look like fucking lush.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Totally.
That happens to me at the beach, except this time I actually will be shammered.
Oh, we're going to be shammered. Yeah, we're going to Mexico in a couple months. Yeah, so that's my story. And like I was being real goofy. Like Rocky Horror is goofy, and there was a bunch of technical issues, so we were just like geeking. I asked him, I said I'm such a bitch. I asked him, I was like, are you falling in love with me? And he was like, what? I mean, and I was like, I just laughed so hard. I was like, I did not ask that because I asked that because I knew I wanted to see him panic. Like, I did not ask that because I needed him to say yes. He panicked so hard.
Dana, you can't scare men for your own entertainment.
I was just feeling very silly. And then today he texted me and was like, sorry that my vibes were weird last night. And I was like, oh, fuck. I didn't even notice that his vibes were weird last night. Fuck.
Oh, no. Well, it's all good, right? Did you just say you were JKing about the falling in love with me thing?
No, because I doubled down on that being really funny. That was really funny. Okay, so basically everything about me and who I am as a person in a relationship is cringing me out. Leela, what's been cringing you out lately? You forgot to think about one while I was talking.
Yeah, it's really hard to do both.
I know.
Especially when we're here and you can't tell. You can tell I'm not paying attention.
Oh yeah, listeners, we are together.
We're together
IRL. We have a new mic set up today, so sound off in the Discord. Is audio better or worse than 2 weeks ago? Because last week we recorded over Zoom with a guest from another state.
Yeah, so let us know. Well, okay. I thought I did think of another one. It's like another airport cringe of my journey back from Atlantic City.
Oh my God, more Atlantic City.
Yeah. So, okay. So I was going through the security, going through TSA. TSA makes me nervous because I really don't fly that much. Literally the worst way you can act, going through TSA. And
but when you're an adorable girl, you can just play the idiot card.
And so I do, and I did.
Sir, I ain't never been on one of these aeroplanes before.
I don't know nothing. So yeah, I was just going through, and I had on like a sweater because it's Jersey and it's like, or Pennsylvania, and it was just, cold. And I took off my coat, and I was like, do I need to take off my sweater? And the lady was like, no, you're good. And then I went to go through the little scanner thing, and then she was like, take off your sweater now.
Oh my God.
I was like, I'm so sorry. You told me. I was
pointing her out.
I was like, she said I didn't have to. And she was like, my bad. And was
You
like,
bitch.
It was very like, this was in the Philadelphia airport, and it was very Abbott Elementary energy. I can't really explain it, which makes sense.
The whole city's just like that.
At least the airport is. And so then they pulled one of my bags to do like a search.
Oh.
And just turns out one of those stupid tiny water bottles they give you on work trips, it snuck its way on the bottom of that. Missed it. So I was like, that's my bad. And she was like, I'm gonna search this. Don't come over the line or try to grab your bag back. I'm like, that's insane. Who would do that? But
give me that bag.
I know that could go only well for me. But I was leaning a little over it, and so when she said don't go over the line, I like jumped back really fast. And she was like, oh damn, I'm not gonna bite you. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just nervous, I'm really sorry.
Oh my god.
And then when I was walking away, I heard the other security guard going like, damn, Keisha, what'd you do to that white girl? And I was like, no, guys, wait, listen. No, that's not why. Wait, let me just explain.
Okay, that's
I'm
awesome.
Just nervous. And then
and then again.
And then I started making my way to my flight station or whatever the fuck it's called.
Your gate?
Yeah, my gate.
Oh my, this bitch has never been on an airplane before.
I don't do it that much. I made my way to my gate. It was a very long walk, and I got almost halfway there, and then I was like, what? This is too light. And I was like, I left my suitcase. I left a suitcase just sitting there alone at an airport.
At TSA?
Outside TSA.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I'm never seeing that shit again. It's got all my meds and everything. And so I went back. I didn't run. That was very suspicious. But I did walk back, and then I was like, I see my suitcase over there, sir. Could I please have it? I was like, am I allowed to walk here? He was like, yeah, you're fine. I was like, I don't know. And so I got it back, and they were not suspicious of me or anything. But
yeah,
that lady thought I was fucking crazy.
Oh my god. I'll have you know, I do fly a lot, and TSA is always a little stressful. Like it never is just like a fun, cool time for everyone. And every airport is like a little different.
Yeah.
And they're all in a bad mood.
Yeah. Whenever I have my hair up, like on top of my head, like in a claw clip or like a messy bun, they always search my hair at the Richmond airport. Yeah, I think it's funny.
That is really funny because obviously I've never had my hair searched.
I think they think there's drugs in there or something.
That's really funny because my old boyfriend Ryan Henry had curly hair like yours, and he did used to hide joints in there when we would get pulled over by cops. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so smart.
You can hide it right in, and then we would be like, yo, Ryan, where's the weed? And he'd be like, up, and pull it out of his hair.
Alana from Broad City, there's a scene where she's like finding all the weed hidden around her apartment, and she's like, she smells and then she's like digs into her hair, and she's like, oh, and it's like a bag of weed in there. It's very funny.
Do you keep stuff in your curly hair? It's like, has anyone ever asked if women keep things inside of their vaginas? Have you ever been asked that question?
I've not been asked it, but I do know that friend of the pod, Courtney, will sometimes travel with some of that sticky icky sealed in a weed sealed like in a plastic bag shoved up the old nature's pocket.
Absolutely not. She does not put it in her vagina.
She said if worse comes to worse, that's what she does.
She says worse come to worse. I do not believe she's ever done that. But not in the
other nature's pocket.
I don't think she's ever done that.
Listen, if I would smoke some vagina weed, I will not smoke butthole weed.
You can fly with weed. My rule is I put it in my cosmetics because there's a bunch of shit in cosmetics, and especially if you get a boy TSA agent, they're not even going to look there at all. They're
like, that's what I've done with my gummies. I've never been like bold enough to actually fly with flour.
Yeah, it's usually no big deal. Don't fly to Russia with it, but
oh god, no.
But like it's usually no big deal.
Mexico. Mexico. Would you just find some there?
I don't know. We'll have to plan our international drug habits off mic. I've never hidden drugs in my vagina, but a couple times when I've taken Molly to concerts, Molly is not as big as weed. Molly's always like a small,
and it's not stinky
packet.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the outside of my vagina. So if they search your whole body, even if they pat down your pussy, they're not going to be like, that feels like a really thin bag.
Okay.
Outside your vagina, like they try not to.
Like you tuck it in your undies?
Yes, I tuck it in my undies. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
One time, my friend Drew, he had a roll-up flask. Like it's a flask, but it's made out of like plastic so you can roll it up, and he had it in his pants, in his underwear, and he got patted down outside of a concert, and the bodyguard or whatever, not bodyguard, the security guard said, "Sir, what's in your pants?" And he said, "That's my piss bag." And the guard said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, go right in."
Damn, that was a bold move and quick thinking.
Drew will do anything, and he is not afraid because he's already been in trouble for everything.
I could never. I would be like, "I'm so sorry, you're right.
Burst into tears.
I broke the rules."
Burst into tears so hard. The guard's like, "Honestly, you need this."
I'm sorry I asked.
Yeah, I don't think I would sneak booze in anywhere.
Well, remember, I mean, like, we're still poor, but, like, remember when we were, like, poor?
Like, poor in a way that you could not foresee recovering from. Yeah. Now I'm poor in, like, a different way.
Yeah.
I don't have money, but I do still just spend it.
Yeah. And I've got credit cards now, so.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh. It's all good.
But yeah, were you saying something about alcohol?
Well, once I got my alcohol confiscated at the Richmond Food Festival on Browns Island, because I put it in, like, this special compartment of my purse that I thought they wouldn't see, but it was a flask, and it was flasks don't feel like anything else.
Yeah, that's a flask right there.
So she was like, "Ma'am."
It's like a gun. It's like, we all know what this is.
I was like, "Can I have it back later?" And she was like, "No." And it was a really cute flask. It was back when Game of Thrones was still, we were all excited about it. And it said, "I drink and I know things."
Class. Don't you have something in your house that says that? Or is it like a tankard or like a cup or something maybe?
It was a flask.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the flask. So in summary, if you're going to sneak alcohol into anywhere, tell them it's your piss bag.
Yeah, but it needs to be that specific kind. It won't work if it's a hard flask.
Yeah, it's just so true. I keep my piss in a stainless steel tumbler.
You know, just in case.
Just in case. Okay, what are we here to talk about today, Leela?
We are here to talk about 1964's, I believe that's right, Harriet the Spy by Louise Fitzhugh. Today we're talking about the book, not the movie.
Yes, movie TBD, check back soon.
This copy here that I have has somebody on the cover who, by the way, does not fit the description of what Harriet is supposed to look like in the book. I'm pretty sure she's brunette. No, she's not blonde.
I don't recall.
I feel like she's brunette. But this little girl looks so much like you, Tina. Look at this.
Oh my God.
That's you.
Oh my God. Okay. That's really funny. That's exactly what I look like right now.
Yeah.
That's not even me younger. What year is this edition? Sorry if my mic sounds weird.
The way that she's dressed makes me think 90s. Or
yes, this is 1990.
90.
Leela's edition. Yeah, and then okay, so I have this edition,
and that looks like the OG.
Check how old this is. This might be the OG or soon thereafter. Sorry, Mike. This I think was the original edition. 1964, and it is bright orange, and it is held together with 3 different kinds of tape and a lot of hope. This is my edition from when I was a kid. I can only assume because I would never look, I taped it with masking tape, like non-transparent masking tape.
It's kind of transparent now because it's so old.
And then look at the inside cover.
This book belongs to Christy K. It looks like an X. I was like, "What's your name?"
This book belongs to Christy K, and then it also in a different pen right here says Christy K.
It looks like you wrote "This book belongs to Christy K" and one of those like purple highlighters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. With
because it's got like an angle on it.
Yeah.
Leela, tell me about your history with Harriet the Spy.
Man, you know, I don't think I really ever read it before, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I definitely saw the movie so many times. I remember it was the VHS tape itself was like bright orange.
All the Nickelodeon ones were.
And you're drink every time you hear this name, but actually I didn't have that movie. My neighbor Lauren Baker did.
Oh my God, Lauren Baker. Lauren Baker, where are you? Come on the podcast.
Surely she's still in Richmond somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, she was allowed to watch like a lot cooler movies and shows than me. Like my parents were very anti-Nickelodeon for a long time. They were like, these kids are disrespectful to the parents, and it's like,
I mean, you're not wrong. Harriet is disrespectful as fuck.
So disrespectful, and I loved that movie. You know, I didn't remember much about it really, which is crazy. I remembered that I loved Rosie O'Donnell in it. I remember
who does she play?
Old Golly.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
And I obviously loved Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah, that is, Michelle is why we decided to cover this at this time. We were originally going to cover Ella Enchanted this spring, but we decided to bump. We definitely will, but we decided to bump it back so we could get to Harriet the Spy.
Yeah. So I just remember loving the movie. I think this, okay, so it was like this, Spy Kids. Maybe Spy Kids was later, but I remember watching
Spy Kids was 2001, I'm pretty sure.
So like this, Inspector Gadget.
Oh God, yeah. What an era. What a time to be a kid.
And that movie does not age well.
Really?
Would not recommend.
How so does it
There's
not?
a lot of like weird racist jokes in it.
Ew, really?
And a lot of like stupid humor and like terrible CGI.
Matthew Broderick.
You know. Yeah.
And you don't like him that much, right?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe that movie's not why, but there's something about him that just like I find him unrelatable, which I know that's not why you shouldn't like people, but like it's the same reason a similar reason why I don't like Tom Cruise. I just like feel like I can't relate to him.
Tom Cruise is an alien and a jackass and a Scientologist. Yeah. And I cannot get started on this rant. I hate that guy.
Yeah, that guy's the worst. Matthew Broderick's better than Tom Cruise, but
so true.
I find them both deeply unrelatable. Anyway, yeah. What about you? What's your history?
So I guess I read it as a kid because this is a very old copy that I have had all my life. When I went to go track this in my story graph, I saw that I had read it in 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is when I was a junior in college or second year sophomore, because I had a little bit of a whoopsie year. So I read it then, rated it 4 stars. But I didn't really remember the plot of it at all. I definitely didn't watch the movie as much as you, although I'm sure I saw it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just reread it now, and I didn't remember it at all, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, neither did I. I remember that this bitch is like very, very, what do they say that about little girls who are smart and mouthy? Precocious. That she's quite precocious. And that she...
Smart and mouthy. So true.
Both of us. And that she, like, wrote shit about all of her friends and neighbors and then like got caught. That's all that I remembered.
Whew, that is so something that would have happened to me as a kid. I was such a bitchy idiot.
Yeah, and like especially, just taking the time to like write down what's in your head is always a risk. Like there's always a chance somebody will find your diary.
Yeah. Yes. And that reminds me of that bit in Bob's Burgers where they're talking about how everyone reads Tina's diary. Yeah. And Linda says, "That's how I know she's not on drugs." And Bob says, "Oh, what does she say?" And Linda goes,
"It says I'm not on drugs."
Why is everyone reading her diary?
It's well written.
She's better on the page than in person.
And what if the Nazis get us and it's all we have of our family?
Yeah, we're not worried about Tina. I don't think this would happen to her. In fact, it wouldn't, because her friends found her erotic friend fiction.
She just leaned in.
And read it, girl. And she leaned in, and it was fine. But Tina's not malicious in a way that
she has
Harriet is.
Tina Belcher's an idiot.
Yeah.
Harriet the Spy is
she's too
vicious.
Smart. She's too smart for her own good. Also.
Yes. So I don't know how much this specific novel influenced this, but when I was a kid, I was a constant notebook girl. I always had a notebook all through school, through the end of college. I always had a book because, like, kind of like Harriet says in this book, like, just paying attention to class and doing nothing else is like brain deadening to me. Like I have to be multitasking. And so I didn't like religiously use it to like exclusively like observe people, but I would write down a lot of stuff. It was like a diary, like writing journal, and then I would also take notes from school in it. In fact, like some of the pieces we've read from on this show have been like from those journals. It was always a spiral notebook. Harriet is a composition book. Yeah, I definitely did. I would maybe like sit at the mall and like people watch and stuff like that. So I do wonder how much this specific book like influenced that idealized bitch who writes in book
vibe. I mean, to a kid, she's hella cool. You're like,
she's really cool.
Oh my God. You notice everything. You are sneaky. Like, to spy on people as a kid, especially, is very intriguing. I mean, you have such little power as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, you have no money. You have no control over much of anything, but you do have control over your own mind and the words that you write.
Yeah. And especially if you learn to be quiet, like that is just shutting up and listening. I feel like you can amass a lot of like intellectual power that way.
Yeah. And I mean, well, so I was going to say, let's get into it, because how much do you think that, I feel like old Golly, Harriet's nanny? I guess you call her. Her live-in nanny, played in the movie by Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, she really encouraged this behavior with her, it seems.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where like, I feel like I would also encourage it, but like I would probably, first of all, if I were her nanny, I probably would have just for sure looked in that diary to see what we're working with here.
Yeah.
I would have just looked inside. It's a huge violation of privacy, or I would maybe start by asking her, be like, can you tell me a little bit about what you write in there? And then if she said, I just write observations about people, I would have tried to talk to her and be like, okay, are those observations that would make people sad? What do you think might happen if somebody reads those? What are you going to do if somebody reads those? Like, try to like prepare her for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So how many different examples of mental illness do you think are kind of hidden in this book?
Oh my God. Okay, that's a really good question, but I do feel like I should do like the briefest of synopses real quick. Yeah. Is that cool?
Yeah, hit us.
Okay, so basically, and the way that I saw it, this book is split into two halves. Wait, that's not even the way that I saw it. It says part 1 and part 2. So in part 1, the main thing is that like Harriet the Spy, she's this 11-year-old girl who's very precocious. She writes in her notebook. She spies on families in her community, and how old is old Golly? Is she like 37?
Probably. That's kind of the vibe I get.
I was picturing her. You want to know what I was picturing? I was picturing Mrs. Fowl from Jimmy Neutron, like an old bitch.
No, I think I get I feel like maybe she's a little too old to have kids, so maybe
like 40s,
in her early 40s. Yeah,
so
40s.
So Harriet finds out that old Golly has a boyfriend, and then the nanny and the boyfriend take Harriet the Spy out. And then the nanny gets fired for taking Harriet out of the house, but also she was quitting at the same time because the boyfriend asked her to marry him. So the whole first half of the book is like about Harriet's relationship with her nanny, old Golly, who is like literally the only person in the world who cares about her.
Yep. Her
straight up.
Her parents don't understand her, or even kind of try to.
They're like rich New York parents.
Yeah.
They're very, honestly, I just started reading The Secret Garden today, which I know is one of your favorites.
I love it.
I don't think I've ever read it before. But last year I read The Little Princess, which is also by Frances Harge Burnett or whatever.
Yeah.
So this year I'm reading The Secret Garden because it's spring. And I mean, that comparison is really helping me feel like Harriet's a nice, good girl.
Oh, yeah.
Because that bitch, Mary quite contrary in Secret Garden. But it's the same kind of parenting where it's like, we're rich. I don't want to really talk to you.
Yeah.
I had a child because I must.
Yeah. Old Golly gets fired because she and her boyfriend take Harriet out to like the movies and some ice cream.
And it's the kind of thing where like, I think that, I mean, she got like fake fired. The husband was trying to talk the wife out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's because like, I think if she had asked permission, it would have been much better. You know what I mean? But she's the help. She's not supposed to be like, I have a boyfriend. Can I share my life with your daughter? No, and I just think I thought that too. I was like, what's the big deal? Why didn't she just ask? I think that just wasn't the vibe in 1964. And this type in like high New York society. Yeah, she's the help. She's the help, totally. Because they also have a cook named Cook. And I was like, what, the fucking cook doesn't even get a name?
And I took that as like, as well as old Golly, because like, there's no way this bitch's name is Golly. Like,
her last name's Golly.
Oh, her last name.
Because remember, we start
Mama
the book
Golly.
by meeting her mom, Mrs. Golly.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's circle back to that. So then the second half of the book is is Harriet dealing with the fallout of losing her nanny, aka her only friend and the only person who's ever understood her. And then to compound her feeling of like lostness and loneliness, then her friends find her whole class finds and reads her notebook, which says very mean and also very nice things about all of them.
Yeah.
And then they start like an anti-spy club, and they hate her, and it just, it sucks. And then in the end, she learns nothing.
So aside from Old Golly, Harriet does have two best friends that are her peers. So her boy best friend is Sport, is his name. That's what everybody calls him. And then her girl best friend is Janie.
Which Janie is fucking crazy.
Janie's a psychopath. Her goal is to blow up the school.
That's awesome.
Because she wants to be some kind of like chemist scientist.
Louise Fitzhugh is a fucking feminist icon.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of Louise, I mean, Janie definitely gives Louise vibes, like, for sure. Not as whimsical from Bob's Burgers.
Oh, I was like, Louise Fitzhugh, does she blow things up?
So one thing about Janie that is described terrifyingly is that when Janie smiles or laughs, you need to be worried.
Yeah, she only smiles when she's livid.
Yeah, which is terrifying.
So, and imagine, it's an 11-year-old girl.
Just being like, oh, yeah, you, I don't know. I can't even think.
And there's this one moment where Harriet surprises Janie in her room, and Janie drops a vial of something and it starts eating through her floor immediately. It's like, oh my God.
So yeah, Janie's crazy. So everybody pretty much leaves her alone, but Harriet, like, they're on the same page.
Yeah,
she's into it. And then Sport is just like the saddest little boy that ever existed.
There's a sequel book about him.
Oh yeah, I think it's just called Sport.
Yeah, it's about how he gets an inheritance from his grandpa, and his mom, like, his fuck off mom, like, kidnaps him to get the inheritance.
Oh, Sport.
I know, his life is really sad.
It's horrible.
Since we just keep talking about Bob's Burgers, he's a real Rudy character.
Oh, he is. Yeah, so Sport fathers is also 11, and he takes care of parents his own father.
Yes, his dad is, like, I think a pretty classic trope of, like, he reminds me kind of like Stu Pickles. Like, he's just really, like, batty, and, like, he's not a bad guy. He just, like, definitely never expected to be a single father, definitely has undiagnosed ADHD, and is, like, really hyper focused on his work.
And I think it's implied that he's an alcoholic as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right.
And he doesn't care for his child.
Oh yeah, because Sport is like, if I don't take the money when it comes in, it goes away.
Yeah, and
that's like, code for alcohol.
He's like, that's why I want to be either a CPA or a ball player.
What kind of 11-year-old is like, I want to be a CPA, a traumatized one? That's the kind.
A traumatized one who's like, that's what must be done.
That's what must be done. It's fucked.
And
it's fucked up.
He says, at one point, because I guess everybody fucking eats early as shit in this at this time. Old Golly is like, we have dinner at 6. Why do you eat dinner so late? Because he eats at 7. And he's like, well, my dad gets home from work and I make him cocktails or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He says, while he's doing cocktails, I eat peanuts and olives, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Sport, but he's like so good at it.
He's really good at it, and he's like, I cook dinner, my dad won't eat, or I won't eat if I don't cook the meals. We eat a lot of eggs.
Yeah, he does eat a lot of eggs. Aww. Oh my God. Okay, so let's circle back to your question.
Oh yeah, mental illnesses.
Let's start by talking. The beginning of this book is so strange to me, and I think also it's strange in 2025. I don't know how it would feel different in 64 when this came out, but the very first chapter of this book, I believe, maybe the second chapter, basically Harriet she's spoiled. She's 11. She's an only child. She's spoiled in the way of, like, she's like physically spoiled, but not emotionally spoiled, really, you know? She's a very kind of like Mary quite contrary in Secret Garden. It's like the fact that you've been emotionally neglected has made you, like, more spoiled because you, like, are emotionally unintelligent.
Yeah.
And so Old Golly, her nanny, is like, we're gonna go meet someone, and she takes her to her mother's house, Old Golly's mother's house. And I literally don't know another way to say this, but, like, at the time they would have just said her mom was simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's very kind and slow.
Yeah.
And it makes Harriet the Spy be like, oh yeah, wow, there are other kinds of people.
Yeah.
And she's like poor too.
Yeah. She's like, this is the ugliest house and the fattest woman I've ever seen.
Lot of fat phobia in this book.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's, I mean, it's kind of implied that maybe we don't know exactly what's going on with old Golly's mom.
They didn't,
Mama Golly.
Yeah, they didn't diagnose at the time.
No, you're right. They would have just called her simple or slow,
or worse.
Worse. She seems like maybe like mentally like younger than
developmentally delayed.
So like she gets has very bad like emotional regulation, it seems like.
Does she have like an outburst? I don't remember.
She does have an outburst when they try to leave.
Oh yeah, but if old Golly's like the only person who's nice to her in the world, then it would be so scary to not know when you're gonna see them again.
Yeah,
it's like really, and honestly I was like, oh, is this book gonna be fucked up and depressing the whole time? And it becomes less fucked up and less depressing. Still fucked up and depressing the whole time.
It is, and it's fucked up and depressing in ways that I feel like are both unintentional and intentional.
Yes.
Like I think some of it is just the time that it was written, and some of it
like all the fat phobia is like very just of the time,
and some of it is that's who this character is. It's first person, and it's all through Harriet. Right?
Yeah, I don't think it's first. Maybe it is.
Maybe it's not.
I don't remember.
No, it's not. It's third.
Okay, it's third person. But literally, Louise Fitzhugh, the author, wrote of Harriet that she is a, quote, nasty little girl who keeps a notebook on all her friends. And like, yeah, she is a nasty little girl.
Yeah, she is. And just like you said, I'm glad that you brought up Secret Garden, because I can't remember what Mary's last name is.
It's like Cromwell or something like that. It's very funny to read that after this. It really is.
Yeah.
Classic girls literature.
Yeah. And Mary was straight up, she was neglected by her parents in a way that I feel like is even
it's like
worse.
It is. She like never spoke to her parents.
No.
She was so foisted upon other people. Harriet's parents at least love her and try. You can tell they're just very much
we don't know what to do.
They just very much are like, I don't want to say victims of their class because they're like upper class, but they very much are just like doing what everyone else around them is doing and not thinking critically. But they're very kind and loving to her, and they try to understand her.
And old Golly is a nanny, and she's raising her, and she is giving Harriet, she's giving her pushback, she's giving her structure, and she is strict with her. So like there is at least somebody there to kind of check her a little bit.
Well, yeah, and old Golly intellectually stimulates Harriet.
Yes.
Whereas like her parents don't know how to do that, and they don't seem to want to.
Don't really
it's
care.
like they're not as intellectual.
Well, they don't know her at all. They're like, I think it's time to send her to dancing school.
Bitch, she likes wearing boys' clothes.
Yeah, come on, man.
Tomboys can't dance.
And versus like Mary and the Secret Garden was raised by servants. Like those weren't nannies.
I've heard. I'm on chapter 4, and she's talked so much.
My Aya.
She's like, it's all her new like Yorkshire servant. She's like, servants bow and salam and do what I say. and her Martha's like, well, I never. So funny. Maybe we should cover Secret Garden sometime.
I would love that. It's one of my faves.
Maybe we'll do it for next spring.
I have a really beautiful illustrated edition I should show you.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I'd like to.
Back to the upper east side.
I don't know anything about New York.
The rich one.
The rich one, yeah. Okay, so like who else has mental illness in this?
Okay, so I think there's a couple arguments to be made for Harriet. So
and it's hard to diagnose a child.
It is.
Wait, is it? No, that's wrong. That's when you're trying to diagnose them.
Harriet is really rigid in her routines.
She is a titch of the OCD.
A touch of the tism.
Her inability to understand other human emotions.
Yeah, she is very inflexible. She is very emotionally unaware, which, like you said, is also probably a part of her parents' sort of neglect, but old Golly's been there the whole time.
Well, and honestly, tell me if you felt the same way, but the whole time I was reading, I kept forgetting that she was 11. I kept being like, yeah, this tracks for a 7-year-old. But like, no, she's 11 and there's a big difference.
Yeah, she's 11. And is she well-spoken? Yes. Is she very intelligent, highly intelligent? Yes. But she's not emotionally present or intelligent.
Yeah, and she is a bit like, she's definitely intellectually superior, like acts intellectually superior and sometimes morally superior too. Like that intellectualism where it's like, my logical thoughts are like superior to your lowly feelings. Not that she says that, but there's just like vibes of it sometimes.
That's how she feels.
Yeah.
For sure. So I would say there's an argument to be made for autism for her.
Okay,
I mean, for example, she was going to go do something, meet up with a friend to play, but then she realized it was fucking 3:30, and that means it's time for cake and milk. And if she cannot miss cake and milk, it has to be at 3:30 every single day, the same food, and she has to do it. Like,
what kind of cake do you think it is that she eats every single day?
I think the cook, I think this bitch probably wants the same flavor of cake every single day, so I think the cook bakes a cake every week.
Yeah, and just one piece every day for Harriet.
Yes.
That's really cute. I wish someone would do that for me.
I want to cook. I like what was popular in the 60s. I'm thinking
like a pound cake or something.
Yeah, pound cake.
Something economical.
Yeah, I was thinking like a yellow cake with chocolate frosting. I mean,
pretty basic, but delicious.
So she has to do that every single day. Her routine is the same every day. She even tries to put on the same clothes if they don't stop her.
She literally does, and she like things in her routine, like she literally has to slam full frontal into the cook every single day, and there's like 8 times the fucking cook, and there's like 8 times when the cook is like, you have to stop slamming it.
She's like, I'll quit. I'll fucking quit.
She does quit one time and then gets talked back into it. But like, and Harriet literally has the thought, she's like, she writes it down. She's like, goals for the week or whatever, stop slamming into cook. And then she never does it because it's just what she does.
Part of the routine. She had to. She also, some of the things she does are very, very like, are sometimes cute. Like, it just reminds me of me and of being a kid. But I have had ADHD, like a strong case of it my whole life. And for example, she has to slam every door. She has to. If she's excited about something or she has to scream. She screams a
lot of all caps.
A lot of all caps.
And also like it will be like in a normal conversation like this, and then she will all of a sudden escalate.
Yeah. And like whoa. The cook is probably just like jumping all the time.
Poor cook. Okay. This cook deserves so much more, especially after old Golly leaves and the cook is like the
stand-in nanny.
Yeah, it's like, this is horrible. This was not in my original job description, but you don't get to pull those kinds of lines on your employer in the 60s.
No, well, that's like in Mary Poppins when the first like nanny that we see like quits.
Oh yeah.
And then the cook is stuck with watching the kids.
That sucks because she's like a woman and a staff member.
Mom's like, well, I have to go to my suffragette party, so
oh, I need to rewatch that. It's been a while.
Oh, it's great. But anyway, and the cook's like, oh, these fucking kids always doing it, do what. But
it's kind of nice though, because if you're the cook who gets asked to babysit, you like don't really have to do a good job.
Yeah, you're like, it's not part of my fucking job.
Yeah, I'm a cook.
Yeah. And then, okay, additional mental illnesses.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Well, okay, we haven't started talking yet about the people she spies on.
Yeah.
There's that guy, Mr. Harrison, who has 26 cats.
Yep.
That man is depressed.
He's depressed as fuck.
He's so depressed. What does he make? Oh, he makes bird cages.
Beautiful. Are they cages or houses?
I think they're ornate bird cages because you don't need bird houses in New York. You need bird cages.
Yeah. He carves or makes them with
I don't know.
Metal. I don't know, but that's like all he does all day.
There's 2 rooms in his apartment, one for the bird cages and one for the 26 cats.
Where does he sleep?
And then like one day Harriet goes and he is so sad and all of the cats are gone. And then the next time she goes back and there's one little kitten in there and he seems happy again.
Yeah.
And everyone else in this book, I was like, I don't really care about anyone, but this one guy, I was like, what is up with Mr. Harrison?
I know, I was worried about him, but was so happy because he got a little kitty.
Just one kitty, I think, is way better than 26 cats.
I'm sure that what's implied is that his landlord or somebody caught on to this and was like,
where did all those cats go, though?
Out on the street.
Oh my God, and then you know what happens after that? The musical Cats. That's exactly how that happened.
Jellicle cats.
Okay, name another mental illness.
Okay, so there's two things that happen to kind of take us to part 2, which if there was a color for part 2, it would be blue. Different shades of blue. Because sweet little Harriet, no, she's not sweet.
I mean, she like is in her like innocence.
Yeah. First, old Golly leaves once she gets engaged. And
good for her, by the way.
Very good for her. We're happy for her. Old Golly is kind of cold. She's a little, which again,
it's cool.
We get why Harriet is kind of like that.
Yeah, like Harriet really, because old Golly like appeals to Harriet's like deep logic, and old Golly's like, don't miss me because I don't miss you, because what that makes the memories like less good if I'm wishing it was still happening. I have these like perfect memories,
which is like a crazy thing to say to a child, but
I kind of like this.
No, it's really cool, but like
it's a lot.
Me and Harriet are very different.
It's advanced for a kid.
It is, and she's like that in general. She's like, don't you dare cry. You know, she's very like, if you're gonna make it in this world.
I know. I just really think that they are perfect together.
They
like,
are.
They really understand each other.
Yeah. But so they leave. Old Golly leaves, and old Golly is Harriet's person. That's like her soulmate, like in that kind of way.
Do we ever learn old Golly's real name?
No.
Okay, great.
Wait, Catherine, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right, because
her gentleman friend calls her Catherine. And then shortly after that is when Harriet starts playing tag in the park with her classmates, and then her notebook falls out. They all find
they're playing slap my books out of my arms tag. Girl, if you're playing a game where the point is to slap your books out of your arms, put that book somewhere safe. Put it in your pants.
Yeah,
put that book somewhere safe, girl. And then she's like, oh no, the books that got slapped out of my hands are slapped out of my hands.
And one of them is my secret notebook. No!
Secret notebook.
Oh, so they are all reading it, and quickly everybody hates her. I mean, Harriet has not only written mean things about the classmates that she doesn't like, she's written mean things about her best friends, Janie and Sport.
Because she's just observing. And like, the thing is, you know, when people are like, that's an inside thought, like, writing it down is like this middle ground of like, you feel like it's still an inside thought when you're writing it down. And like, the way that this character is described, it seems like she actually has a really hard time thinking and processing without the action of writing.
Yes.
So she has like a bit of a compulsion to write.
Yeah, you're right.
And so like, everyone has both good and bad thoughts about like everyone around them. Even your best friends, sometimes you're like, that fucking bitch. Yeah. Like, God damn it. Like, you know, and you just like, the difference is you like choose to love your friends knowing their flaws, but it can be so hurtful as a friend to hear the bad things your friend, because they love you, they don't say that, you know? So it's sad, because I do think that like everyone deserves the right to privacy, but also like, it's just too dangerous to have like a bunch of fucked up stuff about people you care about just like in one place.
Yeah, on your person at all times.
On your person. Well, but where safer than on your person, unless you're an idiot 11-year-old who's like, slap my books out of my hands. Never have I ever heard of that kind of tag.
Yeah, there was not that much to do in the 60s, I think.
Guess. I'll say one thing about Harriet the Spy: she entertains herself.
Yeah, she does.
As an only child, and even after she loses her nanny, she is like, I have business to attend to.
Yeah, she does. And I mean, another thing is like, imagine just letting your 11-year-old just do whatever you want in the streets of New York all day.
I was like, I'm stammering because it is so unfathomable to me. And I do generally think that I'm like more laissez-faire than a lot of parents these days. And like, I do think that I will be, when I'm a parent, like I think I will be a pretty chill one. But roaming the streets of New York City?
Yeah.
No. You can roam the streets of the 5 square blocks around our house that I have specifically outlined for you, and if you go one step further, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, she goes pretty far. She goes into people's homes. Her parents don't care.
She's breaking and entering.
She's breaking and entering constantly. Yeah, and I mean, there were still serial killers in the 60s, can I just say?
Sure were. Doesn't she mention Jack the Ripper in this book, or is that a different book? Some book I read recently mentioned Jack the Ripper.
It's one of these two. Jack the Ripper was probably still at large during Secret Garden, actually. So I don't know.
During Secret Garden.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in the vicinity.
Oh my God. So wait. Yeah, so she's tough. She feels like she can take care of herself, and I mean, she can.
She kind of can. I feel like I also have a vague memory of like assembling a spy kit when I was a kid, being like, I need these things on my person: a scissors, a flashlight. I don't know.
A magnifying glass.
Just in case. Yeah. There's also that lady. So I don't think she enters the homes of anyone except for this one lady. I forget her name, but she basically, like, we see her twice or maybe thrice. I think maybe we see her twice, and then there's like a montage at the end. Yeah. But like the first time we see her, she's like in bed. She's like reminding me of some character from something, but I don't remember. And she's like talking to her maid, and she's like, people should never leave bed. Bed is awesome. And I'm like, wow, girl, I get that. But you do have depression. I'm here to diagnose you as depressed. And then like the next time Harriet goes to spy, which by the way, Harriet has to spy on this bitch by running past the maid at the perfect time, and then like getting into the dumbwaiter, and then dumb waitering herself up to the next floor, and it is loud and squeaky, and she's just like, it's a risk spies have to take.
Like, Harriet, no, you don't have to do this.
And so the next time Harriet goes, then the lady has been like diagnosed with some, I don't know, woman's disease, hysteria, or like forlornness or whatever.
Wandering womb syndrome.
And the doctor has bedridden her. That's not the right way to say that. She's now bed rest. She's been sentenced. Wait, what's the right word?
Sentenced. She's been prescribed to bed rest.
To bed rest. And she's like so sad. She's like, oh no, I have to stay in bed now.
Because she's like, well, when it was a choice, like it was different, but like now that I have to, this sucks, and like maybe I want to see the world.
So true. It's like you want to stay in bed, but then as soon as you get sick, you're like, God damn it, I'm trying to get out of this fucking bed.
Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, so that bit, but then she gets unbedridden at the end, and like finds a renewed zest for life.
Yeah, and she's having a great time. She's going out to parties all the time, and we love that for
doing
her.
Like volunteer work, question mark?
Maybe.
Did I make that up?
I'd like that.
Let's
for her.
say yes.
And that's the place where Harriet does get discovered.
Oh yeah, the only time she gets, because it's the only time she's breaking and entering. She's not going to get caught anywhere else unless she's caught peeping.
And there's no quick escape when you are in a fucking dumbwaiter. Like,
she's a dumbwaiter.
She is. And that's scary. I mean, it's like, gotcha, you know.
Very scary. But also then the maid like winks at her while she's running away. The maid's like, honestly, anything to spice up my fucking day.
Yeah, it's just like, I can't wait until my other maid friends hear this podcast.
The maids talk.
And Harriet's like, I know, I spy on you all.
Do you think Harriet's parents are good? Do you think they have problems? Do you think that they...
mental problems?
Yeah, do you think they have mental problems? And do you think they're like good parents? I don't know. They're so interesting because I feel like you don't see them for the first third of the book and you're like, they suck. But then once they do start interacting with her, you're like, well, wait a minute.
You're like, you kind of feel sorry for them because... I mean, I'm sorry, but it would be really tough to have a daughter like that.
It really, like a full Hermione type, but like a really intense Hermione type. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing I want more in the world than a smart daughter, but like literally, I think that's the number one desire I have in my world. But so smart so as to be getting into trouble and mouthing off to adults and stuff like that.
That's like we talked about before. Would you rather have a kid if you could only pick one who was smarter kind?
I think it's smart.
And for Harriet, she is not kind, and she has to learn. She has to learn to be kind, and she sort of does.
No, I don't think so.
Know that she really learns a lesson by the end of this book.
It's like, do you want Harriet the Spy or do you want Percy Jackson? Because they're similar ages, and Percy Jackson is a dodo idiot, but he's like the nicest boy.
Yeah, it's true.
Wait, I think I'm a Percy actually.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you?
But the difference is that
brave,
Percy,
nice boy.
yeah, the difference is Percy isn't like a dumb idiot. I know I just said that. Like, he's got brains. He's surrounded by smarter people and is way better at just being a friend.
Yeah, and she's not. And I mean, if I were her parents, I would be concerned about the lack of friends. So she does have 2 friends, that the Sport and Janie, that are her own age.
I know, but like, do they even know? Do her parents even know?
I feel like they do. They definitely at least know about Janie, because there's that bit where like Janie's parents are going to send her to dancing school.
The parents are
they're like
colluding.
Yeah. And then Harriet definitely gets depressed, very depressed. After her notebook is found, she has no more friends and no more old golly. She doesn't want to leave her, and then when her notebook gets taken away, like you said, that compulsion that she needs to be able to like process things.
Yeah, I do think it was fucked up of them to take her notebook, but at the same time, like, I also think I would have made the same choice.
Yeah.
It's only because I was in Harriet's perspective that I thought it was fucked up, and like her parents definitely don't know the depth of how badly she needs it, and it was affecting other stuff.
I mean, I don't like to throw this word around, but I mean, she's addicted to that notebook. Like, she needs it.
Yeah, compulsion. I think she talks about like when she doesn't have it, like moving her little fingies, like as if to write.
Yeah, and I think that's just really hard. So I think that's probably about all the mental illnesses in this book. Well, and Harriet, I don't think she has depression. I think that was a circumstantial bout of depression, the way that, like, when something big changes. I mean, her whole life changed. Yeah. And that would make, I mean, change is hard, and it's especially hard on a super emotionally stunted child. There's also, like, I don't know if this is a mental illness, but just like a little, like, little shout out mental illness is we haven't talked about the family she spies on, the day... It's like the DeSantis?
The DeSantis, but it's spelled DEI, and I'm like, I don't know what language that is.
It's Italian.
Okay. And they have a delivery boy named Joe, and Joe has binge eating disorder.
Yeah, for sure.
Joe, at first you're like, teenage boys, they eat so much, but he is like never not eating everything,
and he's like eating a loaf of bread and like a ham.
He steals a full ham, and he like gets fired and then unfired and then like refired about it.
Mom's a little bit emotionally woo-doo. And but then it turns out that he's giving some of those huge portions of food to these little street urchins.
So Aladdin of him,
just so Aladdin and sweet. Yeah, and that's cute. When his mama sees, that's why he's doing that. He's like, that's
like, not his mom though.
Oh, it's not.
He's hired.
He's the hired boy.
He's the hired boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Makes sense why he doesn't have a super Italian name like the rest of them.
Yeah, his name's like Joe Schmo.
Yep, Joe Schmogan.
Okay, but I'm not done with my list of mental illness.
Oh, there's more, you think?
I think Janie has narcissism or sociopathy. Like, she's cold.
Yeah. She makes Harriet look warm, tender, and loving. Yeah, you're right. She is super cold. I think everyone is afraid of her. And not only because...
Her parents.
Yeah, her parents are terrified of her. I mean, yeah, she spills a small... Harriet knocks over a small vial she was working on, and it eats through the floor. Like...
That could have been your face.
What is my child? And I mean, these I think she also has super rich parents. I feel like that's kind of implied. These parents have no control over their children, can I just say? And there's barely even an attempt. They're like, I bet if I took away her notebook and sent her to dancing school,
that'll change everything.
Work. And it's like, no, have you tried talking to them? But in Harriet's parents' defense, her mom at least does try talking to her.
Here's the thing is, like, she definitely does, but I just feel like she does a bad job. Like, I feel like if my kid was obviously struggling that much, I would be trying different ways to get through to them constantly. Yeah. And also, like, I do think that, you know, I know that, like, gentle parenting can get a bit of, like, a bad rap because people conflate it with permissive parenting these days. Yes. But I do think that, like, Harriet's parents, even while they're being warm and trying to understand their child and being like understanding, they do still have this like authoritarianism where it's like, you need to do this, you need to buck up, you're fucking up. Instead of like, I think me, if this was my daughter, I would be so worried and not at all angry. Maybe in like the moment when something's happening, you feel anger, but I feel like that would pass so quickly and I would only be worried about her.
Well, the mom finds out about the notebook because, I mean, I think the teacher found out about it. And I don't think there's even a discussion of like,
why did you write? Like, do you want to process these feelings?
Should we talk about this? It seems like it's really sad for you. Like, should we talk about this?
Those are big feelings.
I mean, that's terrible. I mean, I think as any girl around that age who journals, which is most of us, I certainly did. That was one of my worst fears, right? That it would fall into the wrong hands. Like, who would even have cared? I certainly wasn't writing that mean of stuff, but I was writing mean stuff.
Do you remember? I think we discovered this when we were reading something from one of my old notebooks. If I wrote something really crazy, I used to staple the pages together so nobody could read it by accident.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be on the defense
because it's scary.
It's really scary.
It's so scary, and you're like, people can't know how much of a monster I really am, you know.
But everyone is,
and that's the risk you take when you pin down the thoughts that are in your head.
Yeah. Oh, Harriet.
I know.
What else should we talk about?
So, let's see. Mental illness was a big one.
I think that, like, here's something interesting. This book, when it came out, was banned or challenged. It was challenged because Harriet is a bad person and it sets a bad example. And I do, like, this happens all the time when I read kids' books that I grew up with. And so I grew up to be an okay person. So I don't know how real this is. But I feel like if my kid wanted to read Harriet the Spy, I would be like, yes, and let's talk about it. I'm not going to let you just rogue read this because I can't let you think that any of this is right or good.
No.
And also, like, at the end of the book, we haven't really talked about this. But, like, all her friends are mad at her. She's having a really hard time in school. And the way that she overcomes that is that her teacher decides that Harriet is going to be in charge of writing the 6th grade page in their their newspaper. And I think that's a really cool idea. I really like that. And like when they decided that, I was like, oh, that gives her some agency back. Mm-hmm. It gives her a reason for her peers to engage with her again. And it gives her an outlet. However, instead of writing 6th grade news, she literally is just publishing what she's writing in her notebook about her neighbors and like still mean stuff about like her teacher and her friends. But everyone likes it now.
And she's rewarded for it.
She's totally rewarded for it. So she learns nothing. She never talks about like why that was bad, like how to fix stuff like that in the future, like how to be a good friend. She never talks about any of that. She learns nothing. And like, she gets rewarded for putting her like dumb shit. That's gentle parenting. Like, oh, honey, your sweet, perfect thoughts, publish them in the school paper.
That did bug me a lot. Because she also says like she wants to be a spy, but I feel like she also has some kind of aspirations of being a writer. Maybe I'm wrong.
Writer/spy. She's going to be a spy and then publish her memoirs.
Yeah. And so great chance to mix it up and think of something else. You have all these real life experiences that you could use to like write a story or write anything. But she's just still talking shit about her neighbors. And then
who let that get published? Who's in charge? What's the faculty supervisor?
Yeah, I wonder if her parents just like gave a lot of money to the school.
Oh my God.
Something. I mean, that would make sense, honestly.
Yeah.
And then when Harriet gets her notebook gets found, and she just buys another one, and starts writing in that one. She gets over and she sees they start doing mean things to her. All her classmates, one because I used to write with quills and ink or some shit.
Yes.
One of her classmates pours like a full bottle of blue ink down her back.
That's fucked. Ink is
crazy.
It's like ink is, what am I trying to say? It's like so stains so hard, gets so everywhere, so slippery, like it's fucked.
And then I think when someone's not looking, one of the other girls pours another one. Like it's quite bad.
It's like so vicious.
It's really bad. So they and then somebody steals her lunch. This is another kind of tismy thing. She eats the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
We'll hear nothing about it. Tomato sandwich with mayonnaise. It is what it is. And they steal that from her. That's like, she has nothing else that she has to run home.
And when she's like spiraling and her life is so out of control, she for 1 second, she's like, maybe I'll have a ham sandwich tomorrow. She's like, well, everything's already fucking ruined.
Yeah. And then she's
might as well explore other kinds of sandwiches.
And she's like, no, that's crazy talk.
And the fucking cook, she's like, make me a sandwich, tomato. And the cook's like, fucking tomato. I know. Oh my God,
this kid. But the ways that
thinking about the cook makes me laugh so hard.
I wonder what her real name is.
Cook.
Yeah.
Wait, what if her last name is Cook?
Oh yeah,
with an E on the end.
Oh, that would be nice. Margaret or something.
Margaret Cook.
So then when Harriet basically starts fantasizing about ways she can exact revenge on various classmates, and it is vicious. So like, okay, so she got ink poured down her back. So her revenge for that girl is like, oh, and that's why your fucking dad left, right? Like,
she's writing down.
Christ.
She's writing down like Harriet's list of ways to get revenge, and then she's like, number 1, ask Rachel where her dad is.
Fuck, God damn, Harry. And she's like, there's this boy that has purple socks. She's so mean to him. And
it's the only thing about him is that he has purple socks.
She says he's a very boring boy with purple socks.
But it's like, Harriet, have you tried to speak to him? Because he actually in the end seems like kind of a cool guy.
Yeah, he actually seems like he's somewhat on your side, actually.
So Harriet's school is it is co-ed up through I think like 6th or 8th grade. I think 6th grade, and she's in 6th grade. And so like, even though boys can go to the lower school, her class only has 3 boys in it, and those 3 boys are so funny. There's the boy with the purple socks who is so boring. We don't learn anything about him until like the very end. He's like, well, I wear green socks now or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's Sport, and then there's Pinky, who is just like kind of like a sniveling idiot. He seems just like a pain in the ass and an idiot.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, so they're all such like beta boys. Like, yeah. They're like, I'm overpowered here.
Yeah. They get where they are.
So like, yeah, I think that like something else that could have benefited Harriet is someone being like, if you want to be like a spy, let's talk about what that actually is and like what you actually have to do. Like, she has this like she's like got like Spy Kids spy. She's like got this like glamour. Well, actually, she thinks like being a spy is like being a snoop.
Yes.
Spies are like doing something for a reason. Yeah. Harriet's like just practicing for no reason other than to be a bitch. And so I think that, and maybe like this is part of, when did James Bond start coming out?
I want to say 60s. It couldn't have been earlier than that, right?
Yeah, I don't know, because I was wondering if she had perhaps seen one. Not that she mentions it, but like, yeah, she just seems to have this like glamorized idea of like what a spy is, or like not even glamorized. It's just wrong. She just like doesn't know what spies are. Yeah,
she's like, I think it's just people who snoop on other people
and then write a book about it, and I'm gonna become famous and they'll all be sorry. Never forget the final step is, and then they'll all be sorry.
Yeah. And I mean, revenge ends up not being as fun. Another thing she does is one of the girls has like really beautiful long hair. She cuts a huge chunk out of the girl's hair.
Murder a bitch. I would throttle someone who cut a chunk of my hair.
They said that her parents or somebody said that she cut it so short that she practically had to have her head shaved in order to have it all be even.
I would.
Horrible.
I would.
My hair is everything.
My hair is like my whole identity.
Yeah, absolutely not.
As you know, because I did not. My hair has been brown for the last like 4 months, and I'm like, who am I? And now that it's blonde again, I'm like, oh my god, wait, I'm the hottest girl in the world.
Yeah, blondes do
just remembered. Oh yeah.
And as a little girl, especially, you're like, I have beautiful long hair. That's me.
It's on my childhood hair is on the cover of your fucking edition of Harriet the Spy.
Yeah, you're not like trying to like get a pixie cut or some shit, you know?
Yeah, I forgot to mention when you were talking about how the girl on the cover of your edition looks nothing like Harriet. I have this edition where I guess she does have blonde hair because the one on my cover she's blonde, but it does say at the beginning of the book that she has long hair, and throughout this whole book, the illustrations, she definitely has a bob.
Yeah, interesting.
And the thing about that, I mean, I worked in children's books for several years, and like it's just not hard to be like, this is what the book says, the drawing should look like that.
Yeah.
Also, the illustrations in this book, does your book have illustrations?
It does.
They're by the author.
Really?
The illustrations are they the same?
They're all like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
The illustrations are by the author. So the author wrote and drew different hoes.
That's cool. You're right, because it doesn't say illustrated by a different person.
Yeah, and like I don't want to say they're bad, but they're very unrefined.
Yeah.
They're sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the author did those, which I think is cool.
Almost reminds me of the illustrations in Roald Dahl's books.
Yes. Yeah, very sketchy, kind of creepy in like a 60s way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Louise Fitzhugh was gay. Did you know that?
No?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She was gay, and she got married when she was 19 and like never consummated the marriage, and then got it annulled, and then had like many lifelong, like a life of women lovers.
Okay.
She died when she was 48.
Oh no.
From a brain aneurysm.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. But yeah, she's gay, and you know, looking back at Harriet through the lens of knowing the author's lesbian, like Harriet feeling more comfortable in like boys' clothes, and like, I don't know. Do you remember that she mentioned several times that she's going to marry sport, but it's just like, for what?
Yeah, just because it's the thing to do.
It's the thing to do. And I'm like, wait, that could lead someone to getting married to a beard when they're 19 and then never consummating it and getting annulled.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I do think that's really interesting. I don't know. Was there anything else in the book that you feel relates to Louise Fitzhugh being gay?
No, but you know, like, other than old Golly, you know, getting engaged to that nice man, I feel like she's kind of queer coded too. She's very,
oh yeah, like an old spinster, but
yeah.
like wink, wink,
wink, wink.
Yeah. She kind of reminds me of Professor McGonagall. Not to always bring up Harry Potter, but
yeah, I agree.
McGonagall's been queerified a lot.
Yeah, I don't see McGonagall wanted to smooch no man.
I smooch no man. Yeah, for sure. Although, I mean, whatever. It's like in the additional Harry Potter lore that she was married once, but I don't. She was married when she was 19 and she never consummated it. She annulled the marriage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, definitely some queer coding. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else who's like queer coded, because we have like the very straight parents everywhere.
Yeah.
And Mr. George or whatever, he had a Jewish, like he was Jewish, which in the 60s meant something still.
Oh, yeah, it's old school racism.
It's like low class. Let's talk about I'm gonna get his name real fast because we're gonna talk Mr. Waldenstein.
That's her old Golly's beau.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay.
So this guy, he was married and rich, and he had kids. And he told his wife, I'm not happy. I'm giving everything up. You can come with me and be poor, or you can just have all my money. What would you do, Leela?
Oh, it depends on how in love I was.
Yeah, I was going to say with Jason, you would do anything. Yeah, but if you are marriages were different back then. I don't want to say that it was like arranged, but it probably was. I don't know. Especially if he was rich, he definitely could have married for less, something other than love.
And what options would a woman really have? Like, am I going to support our children, like, by being a typist? Like,
yes. Yeah. So she said, I'm going to take that money.
Yeah.
And so he gave up his whole life, which it sounds romantic in the book, but now I'm saying it out loud. I'm like, he abandoned his kids.
Well, Harriet thinks it's very romanticized. She thinks that's kind of like cool. And remember, she kind of warmed up to him after he told her that story.
Yes, but also don't forget that she does not understand human emotions.
Yeah,
she's not
true.
like, boy, howdy, that would have been hard for that mother.
But she's like, ooh, adventure. I like adventure.
Yeah, and so he's a lot happier. So I guess I would tell myself that they probably had a lot of marital troubles if they were so willing to separate.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so he like works as a delivery boy. He gets promoted to cashier over the course of this book, which is that's kind of like, let's just say that's entry level.
Yeah.
And he carts old Golly around on his like bike cart.
Is it a motorbike?
No, he pedals.
Oh.
Don't you remember Harriet is like, I can really hear him huffing and puffing up this hill.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And he has to trek old Golly and Harriet.
His leg muscles are probably real nice.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
so true.
Waldenstein.
We get it. Yeah, Mr. Waldenstein.
Old Golly's in love.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when I was reading it in the book through Harriet's lens, I was like, that's so sweet. That's so cool of him. But now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, he straight up abandoned his family. But at least he abandoned his family with his wealth.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's like, she'll be okay.
Yeah.
Anything else to talk about in Harriet the Spy?
No, I don't think so. Back to your question of like, were Harriet's parents good parents?
Oh my God, that was so long ago.
It was so long ago. I would say no. You know, they weren't good parents. They did the best that they could with their situation. They probably did the best they knew how to do.
They were probably like a lot better, more loving parents than like their own parents.
Yes.
You know, like they definitely are like different, a totally different generation of parents.
Yeah. How do you think Harriet, what do you think she grew up to like become? Like what kind of person?
Oh, why was Liz Lemon the first thing that came to mind? Oh my God, what kind of person?
Liz Lemon is funny.
She's funny.
And messier.
Harriet is not funny.
No.
What the, but I'm trying to think of like media, but like, oh, Harriet's like rigid.
God,
so
she's
rigid
almost
in
like,
this way.
I'm really not a Star Trek girl, but like she's like Spock. Like she's so like, that's not logical. Like I don't get it.
There's this character. Did you ever see the show Loot?
No.
It's Maya Rudolph. It's like a really good show.
Ooh, I love Maya.
She plays, yeah, and you know, it's like her show, so she runs that shit. But she plays like a billionaire. She plays Adam Scott's wife, who he like publicly cheats on her, and they like get divorced. And she gets like billions and billions of his dollars in the divorce, or millions. I don't know money. She gets a fuck ton of his money in the divorce, and she is like, what do I do with my life now? So she realizes, she's like, oh, I have a charity in my name, because rich people just be starting charities in their name. So she gets really involved in the charity. Okay, it's a great show. It's like heartwarming and hilarious. Yeah. But the person who is leading the charity when Maya Rudolph blows in on the wind is this like very rigid like woman who is like so good at what she does. She's so good at running the charity, but she's really uptight. She's really rigid. She has a very hard time deviating from, let's just say Maya Rudolph is a challenge for her. So that's the first person that I thought of after Liz Lemon, which was incorrect.
Yeah, it's more Leslie Knope than maybe if we're talking about rigidity. But again, Leslie she's
so
very
nice.
bright and positive.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Harriet is definitely unlike many, and unlike characters that I really read, especially unlike other little girls and
little girls for sure
in children's books, and I can appreciate that.
What about like Miranda Priestley? But like she wouldn't work in fashion, but she
that's more accurate. She would
a writer and a bitch.
She would be like the best. She has like the energy and the lack of emotional roots and connection to be able to be like a CEO type person.
Yeah. Oh, Sandra Bullock from The Proposal.
Yeah, that's her.
We need Ryan Reynolds to teach her how to love.
Get him in their stat. Maybe Sport will be like Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my God.
Come back into her life unexpectedly.
Yeah, after he recovers from being kidnapped by his mom.
Oh God, poor Sport. Oh, Sport.
Leela, do you think Harriet the Spy is horny, sad, or just plain bad?
I guess sad.
I think it's also sad.
Yeah, it's sad that
everyone's having troubles the whole time.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of things in there that are like that are dark and depressing, and like I said, in a way that I feel like sometimes is not even intentional by the author. It's just
of the times,
the vibe. So I guess sad. I mean, I still would recommend this. I thought as an adult it was a really fun reread. I like to read stuff like this that is from the perspective of a really smart kid like this. I think it just kind of brings you back a little bit. She has moments when she's, that innocence comes out and it's endearing.
Oh yeah, there's this one scene that we just haven't had the opportunity to talk about because I don't know why we would, but she gets cast as an onion in her Thanksgiving play, and she's like trying to become an onion spiritually, and she's like rolling around on the floor like an onion would roll if you dropped it. This is obviously pre-Shrek times because she's like, how could I possibly relate to an onion? Okay. Well, first of all, they have layers.
Ever heard of them?
By the way, I bought a Shrek DVD at a yard sale over the weekend.
Okay.
I have a very limited DVD collection in case of emergency. I also just bought a DVD player.
Oh, hell yeah. Is a DVD or a Blu-ray?
A DVD player.
Wow.
DVDs only. And I have like 10 DVDs, and it's like Mean Girls, Romeo plus Juliet, Shrek.
I'm sure DVDs are dirt cheap right now, so that's the way to go.
Okay, so then she's rolling around on the ground being an onion, and this is like when her parents are like trying so hard to understand her, and her dad like gets on the floor and is like, all right, I'll help, I'll try to become an onion too. And her mom's like, maybe don't be on the floor, honey. And he's like, I want to be an onion. Like, it's really cute. It's really cute.
It's nice to see them. There's not really any other scenes like that where they're all kind of getting on her level and just being silly with her.
Yes.
Harriet's not a very silly girl.
That's why you got to capture it when it's happening.
Yes.
Yeah. And that scene reminded me so much of, did you ever read To Kill a Mockingbird? Are you familiar? When the whole ham situation, Scout's in like a ham costume for the whole finale of the book. That's but more cute, smart girls in Thanksgiving food costumes.
so stupid.
I think I would also go sad for this because it's not bad at all.
No.
And whatever the opposite of horny is.
God.
I mean, oh golly's real horny. every time that Harriet looks over, oh golly and Mr. Waldenstein are just gazing into each other's eyes, which I'm in a new relationship. We don't just gaze in silence. Like it's like you
Maybe
like
they're playing footsie under the table.
Tee footsie. Yeah. So yeah, sad because like Harriet's situation is sad. The fact that her parents like are trying but like just straight up are not equipped. Yeah. That's sad. Oh golly leaving, sad. The way that she doesn't learn anything in the end, sad. Everything's sad.
Yeah.
Well, sad book. It's not that sad. It's like it is a pretty fun read, like you said. And like if you want something light and easy and like nostalgic to read, maybe on vacation this summer or something, this would be a good one.
And it's a middle grade book.
I pounded it in like 2 days.
Yeah, me too. I started and I was like, oh, okay. This is it's endearing. I can't like stop reading it.
Yeah,
as Louise Fitzhugh put it, as nasty as Harriet is, like it's also just endearing. Just reminds you of like simpler times and like when the worst thing that ever could happen to you was like, well, actually, that still would be the worst thing. My friends finding out that I was talking shit about them.
Oh yeah,
never mind.
We all are
as old as time.
Everyone talks shit about each other, but you don't want to hear about it.
No.
Yeah. One of like I hate this word that people use in book marketing, but it also is like exactly right. Have you heard like unput downable? People use that in like marketing copy and it's like so dumb.
Yeah, it sounds like it's the type of thing that like Gen Z makes fun of millennials for saying.
For sure.
It's like, but I did a thing.
But some books are unput downable.
Yeah. And it is. It's easy to just rip through. Highly recommend if your kid wants to read it, maybe read it with them or make sure
just like to talk them through it. Yeah. Leela, do you remember what the next book we're going to read for this podcast is? It's not going to be one you'll blow through in an afternoon.
Yeah.
It's time, friends. We're coming up on the next installment of our Twilight obsession.
Eclipse,
which is... Hold this.
Hold my beer.
Hold my microphone. First of all, do you see how thick Breaking Dawn is on this fucking shelf?
I mean, I'm irritated already looking at that.
I think my copy of Eclipse might be never before read.
It looks crisp.
It's really crisp. Okay.
Can I smell it?
Yeah, smell it. Smell it and then tell me how many pages are in it.
Smells neutral. And there are
my guess is 670.
Very close. 628.
Okay, I was 40 pages off. So, that's the sound. That's the sound of Eclipse landing on the desk.
Yep. And I'm excited. It'll be fun. It'll just be a slog a little bit. I just know it will be.
It's always a slog. Yeah, it's always a slog to get through these books, but I love it the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, so many words.
More.
Do you remember what happens in Eclipse?
Is there like a vampire battle or there's more Volturi stuff?
I think the vampire battle is in Breaking Dawn.
Okay. More Volturi stuff.
But I'm not going to say there's no vampire battle. I don't.
Yeah.
All I remember is that this is one where she is forced to cuddle with Jacob because she's camping in the winter.
Oh, I do like that scene.
Because every winter my Facebook memory pops up and it's like every winter in like mid-January it's like that cold that had Bella cuddling another guy in front of her old man.
And we're still team Jacob at this point.
Yeah, for now.
So we'll see. Hopefully there's a lot more to say about these characters.
Yes. And next week we will be covering the Harriet the Spy film if you happen to want to watch it in the meantime so you can follow along and know what we're talking about.
We've been wanting to watch it anyway, and I've just been putting it off because I'm like, I'm not going to watch this, do the thing where I watch the same movie twice within a week.
John Tucker Must Die.
It was John Tucker Must Die and Titanic. That's
brutal.
That was a little tough.
All right. That's it for Burn Before Reading.
Until next week, remember,
your cringe is part of you.
But only a small part of you.
Oh, like Harriet.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to Burn Before Reading.
Created by me, Christina Kahn.
Hosted and produced by Christina Kahn and me, Leela Hilton.
Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Follow him on Instagram at RoyGBivRVA or check out his work at wildlingpress.com.
Theme music by Sakura Wishes.
Find me online at Christina Kahn.
And find me at Leels for Reels.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and Tumblr at BurnBeforePod.
Or feel free to give us an email at burnbeforepod@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, friends.
See you next time.
Dave X Media.